Young Life is a group of people that love Jesus and move into a community and share him. It is being a part of a community and reaching the kids that would never walk in to a church. Those kids need to hear about Jesus. There are different components of Young Life, though. One of them is club. That's kind of the face of what Young Life is, that people hear like, oh, club's happening on Wednesday. And that really is kind of a cheesy way of describing it, is a party with a purpose. It is 1 hour out of every single week that we hope high school kids have a chance to feel welcomed, accepted, free from what homework they need to do, who's asking them to a dance, what grade they got on a test, that they can kind of leave that at the door and just be freely who they are. During that time, we sing songs, we play games, we just share life together. The last thing is campaigners, and that is just a weekly Bible study that really the hope and dream for it is the things that kids hear on Wednesday, that we can kind of unpack that and say, like, what does that look like? I think one of the other things that is really well known about Young Life is summer camp. Young Life has camps all over the country. We even have one in British Columbia called Malibu, and it is, I mean, people say it all the time that it is the best week of your life. There are so many different things you can actually do and participate in, between rock climbing, parasailing, horseback riding, mountain biking, ropes course, just tons and tons of different activities, which is awesome. And you're going with your friends, so you're not like going to a camp that you're going to meet all these new people at. You go with your high school, and which is also really fun because you go home with your high school. So the experience that you have at camp doesn't just stay at camp. One thing that we do at Young Life Camp is we have club. So it's really similar to the Wednesday night clubs, but it's once a day at camp. And we sing and play games, and there's skits and tons of laughter, but at the end, the speaker at camp shares Jesus and shares the gospel. And at camp, there's also a time to kind of reflect and talk through some of that with the girls or guys in your cabin. It's just an incredible week away, and really life-changing. My life was changed because I went as a high school sophomore, freshman, and I know plenty of high school kids' lives that have been totally changed because of a week at summer camp.
I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love.
I got involved with Young Life my freshman year. My friend Morgan Cunier brought me to a club, and it was an all-area club, so Wabanzi, Mattia, and Neuqua were all at the White Eagle Clubhouse. After that, she just kept dragging me along. Like, every week she'd be like, come to club with me, and I was like, okay. And I just kept going. My senior year, I became a senior leader, so that's when I was really, like, super involved. Being a senior leader in Young Life has provided me with opportunities that I would have never dreamt of before. Like, this past fall, I spoke at the Young Life banquet in front of 500 people, and I basically explained my whole story in front of adults, and I would have never thought in a million years that that's where I would be at. I get to provide that helping hand to kids that maybe need it, or if they come to club and they hear something through that in the talk that sparks an interest in them, or like they're like, oh wow, what does that mean? I am so happy to be the one that they can turn to and talk to those kind of things about, because I mean, that's what makes me the happiest. And knowing that I'm there for them, basically, in whatever they're going through, and showing them that there is light at the end of the tunnel is the happiest part.
When I was a high school student, I was really impacted by Young Life and my Young Life leaders, and the way that I learned and understood my faith. So when I went to college, I really wanted to be a Young Life leader. It has been such a blessing to me, and I've learned way more about who Jesus is and who I am by interacting with high school kids. It also is such a cool experience to watch someone that has never heard about Jesus and heard about God and his love for just humanity, and see someone's life be completely transformed. Seeing people that had hard situations or were really in rough places and see them come out just totally different.
I initially met Christ my junior year. Since my freshman year, I struggled with a pretty threatening eating disorder that sent me directly into like a really dark place and a complete spiral that distorted my view on life and my friends and family and a lot of things, and it left me completely numb for so long. And my junior year, I realized that I was going to a really bad place. Like, either I did something, so I started praying and praying and praying just for help. And I was like, if anyone is out there, please give me some sort of guidance. And I was just basically crying out for help. Wasn't expecting anything in return at all. I don't know why I was even praying. I was. And then my junior winter, God actually answered exactly what I was praying for. And it was to make me realize reasons why things were happening in my life, like with family and just general things. He came down and was standing next to me, telling me why things were happening, and that's exactly what I was praying for. Then I had a decision to make, to either listen to him and what he was telling me, or to completely ignore the radical change that he made in my life. And I felt like there was no other option than to follow Christ and devote my life towards it. The fact that he would come down next to me in the middle of my mess and pull me out of it was just incredible to me, and I couldn't get over. It literally saved me.
I think the way that Jesus has influenced my daily life and just really changed the trajectory of my life has been, Jesus talks about this idea of the kingdom of heaven being here, and that has really just given me a new set of eyes in the way that I interact with people, and realize that God is a part of every situation, is a part of every person, and just what does that look like here? And instead of seeing things as the hurt and the pain, that God is in the midst of all of those things, I think has not made life easier. It has made my life more joyful.
Faith is not an easy thing, and it is so easy to slip up, but having trust in him is the whole point. And I look at life with a different pair of eyes now, and those are the pair of eyes that I love the most, because I'm able to look at situations differently. Before, I would turn to something totally wrong, but now I understand it, I'll analyze it, and I will do anything I can, what Christ wants me to do, to work through him.
By the hand and led him outside the village. When he had spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked,